Alright, Rockers Turbo, back with you here inside the Asylum, and I am very honored and happy to have with me by phone the front woman of the world's only all-female tribute band to Judas Priest. That's right, Judas Priestess is the name of the band, and Militia Vox, the front woman, on the phone with me right now here inside the Asylum. Militia, how are you, hon?
Hey, what's up, Turbo? Nice to speak to you.
Same here, same here. So glad to have
and
you.
And I'm biased because, because your name is Turbo. I just feel like you're like somewhat of a kindred spirit because, Turbo lover, the whole thing,
Yes, I tell you what,
yeah.
I get
Is that where the name comes from?
Actually, no, I get that all the time. It's a story I go through so many times. It was actually once the bane of my existence. Everyone assumed, because of my name, that I was the world's biggest Judas Priest fan, or that I was a big fan of that album, or or Turbo Lover was one of my favorite songs. It's actually because I don't know if you've heard the story, my listeners have, my name actually comes as my old fraternity name in college. Yes, I was given the name Turbo in my fraternity in college for the obvious reason of flying around campus from one place to another, and when it came to going into the world of rock and metal, well, it only made sense to keep that name.
Cool. I like it.
Oh, thank you. I like Militia.
It's appropriate. It fits you.
Well, as does yours, I must say.
Yeah, I was given this name.
Really?
Yeah.
How were you given the name?
I like to say I earned it. I'd say, basically the abridged version is like when I first moved to New York, I was actually going by a different stage name, and it just wasn't really fitting anymore. And I also came to find that, there were, a couple girls in, the S&M, goth industrial scene that were kind of using a similar name.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I don't want to do that. It's kind of whack. So, I was in a band, like a grindcore, shock rock band at the time, and this dominatrix, she was like, you need, a tough name, something that really describes you, in a powerful way, because that's more your speed, something where it's you're a force, you're and rebellious. And she was like a militia. And I was just like, I don't like that name.
I like that. I don't like it.
She was like, no, it's perfect for you. She's like, a militia you call on in a state of emergency. And she was like, who handles all of the emergency situations in the band? I was like, all right, you're right. It's true.
Oh, then
kind of stuck.
Well, then I'd say you've definitely earned it, and it definitely fits, considering many consider the world of rock and metal a rebellious world. So it only makes sense that the front woman of the world's only all-metal tribute to Judas Priest, Judas Priestess, have a name as rebellious as the music you guys play.
Yeah, no, it definitely fits, and I've definitely grown into the name, I should say. I mean, it was always there, but I think I definitely just filled out. I don't know. Now it's like we're equals now.
Oh, it's totally cool. Absolutely, 100%. So now, I mean, I'd like to go back a little bit if I could, because I've heard of Judas Priestess for years, and the irony that we found out prior to starting this conversation for everyone listening to the Asylum is that we actually know many people within the same scene here in the New York area and in the
Hmm.
music industry. But yet, this is the first time we're actually speaking. I want to go back and just how did Judas Priestess come to be?
Yeah, Judas Priestess came to be not because of me. I hate to admit, it was because our former guitarist and our bassist Gita Gash were playing in their respective tribute bands at the time, and I think maybe they were just like a little bored and really looking to make a statement and do something cool and new and exciting and challenging and really come out with guns blazing. And they decided to do a tribute to this priest, for a girl that just hadn't been done before, as far as I know. And
Mm-hmm.
they really just wanted to make a statement and like challenge themselves like as musicians, because the material is not. I mean, it's not like playing like Motley Crue. It's like it's a very rich musical catalog. So it's definitely not something that's like a quick learn. It's like you really have to have some chops to play this material. And they worked on it for a while together, and then slowly, one by one, would find the girls to fill out the lineup, and I was the last piece of the puzzle. And I had heard about the band through the grapevine, and I was a Priest fan, but I had the same apprehensions that like a lot of people did when they first heard about it. They were just kind of like, oh, they were like, oh, well, girls can't play this stuff. Oh, they're gonna ruin it. I had the same exact reaction. Like, oh, it's gonna suck. This and that. But I was talking about it with a friend of mine, and he said, well, if you don't do it, you're going to be really angry at the girl that does it. Like, if they're any good
It's a
and
good
someone
point.
else is doing it,
Yeah.
you're going to be pissed. And I was like, you know what, you're right. So it was like, no, it was no, skin off my teeth to, like, try it out, and just see how they were. So I sent them, my info and sent them, my history and, my bio and some of the things I've done resume-wise. And I sent them pictures of me with Rob Halford.
Well, that would be an automatic win in my books.
Yeah, yeah. So it was just like, because I wanted to show them that, I wasn't just like doing it as it being something to do, or, that it was like something I didn't take seriously. I wanted to show them that I was a Priest fan, um, and that I've been a Priest fan for a long time. So it's like not, they weren't only gonna get, vocals out of me. It's like they're gonna get someone that has like a love for the band and the band's history. So that was cool, and then they later admitted that they were kind of just like, they were scared to bring me in.
Yeah.
They were just like, a little intimidated because, because I was a diehard Priest fan, and plus, like, my resume is, like, pretty strong. So they were just like, okay, well, we have to get ready for her. So they rehearsed for a while before they brought me in. And by the time I came in, it was just like, putting on a hot pair of shoes. It just like was a perfect fit. So it ended up working out, and it's kind of shocking to me just like how much speed and momentum the band has had in like a short amount of time, because it's been 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like, in tribute land, there's a lot of bands, they play for like 10, 12 years and finally get like some notice, so it was pretty amazing for us that we got so much love, like, just from the get-go. it felt really good. So, sometimes when you're in a band, sometimes it can feel like, it's like some self-serving thing, and that you're doing it to stroke your own ego, and no one really cares. So it was cool to be it was like, oh yeah, like people see that we actually, that we're real and that we love the music, and we're doing it because of that love. It's not some vanity project.
Right, and it's also harder to on tribute bands because people go into it knowing the band, the bands are paying tribute to, and there's this precursor, bar set for people going to shows. And I mean, I've heard everything from, oh, they don't look like, regarding different tribute bands, not Judas Priestess, but I mean, when it comes to tribute bands, I've heard of everything from, oh, well, they sounded good, but they didn't look like the band,
Right.
or they looked like the band, but they sounded bad, or they didn't have it on the right key. The sort of trivial stuff, but yet here you ladies are, 5 years down the line, and I mean, I don't think there's anyone in our area, the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, that doesn't know who you ladies are.
Yeah, we've been lucked up, but we also, I mean, we hit it really hard when we first came out. We were playing, 1 to 2 times a week, really trying to get our name out there and just build up a fan base and all that kind of stuff. But I think the reason why we ended up excelling was because we were all in it to win it. We really had a strong group vision that we were going to come out, with guns blazing, and we just went for it. So I think the whole thing about tribute, why tribute gets a bad rep, is because of there's a hokey quality to it. Sometimes there's a gimmick or a tongue-in-cheek thing going on sometimes, and we never fed into that. It was very important to us that we establish ourselves as a great band, period. We didn't want to be doing the cute thing where we were oh yeah, my name's Roberta Halford, and our drummer is Stephanie Travis, or whatever. We never did some weird play on
your names. Right.
It was just we didn't want to do that. It was no, we always made very clear that I'm Militia and I'm singing the vocals in Judas Priestess. We just wanted it to be very specifically we're our own people. We're not impersonators. We weren't trying to emulate them and their own persona. It was more we're ourselves, but we are filtered through the channel of Judas Priest style, or Judas Priest swagger, and obviously the music and stuff like that. The look, the leather with the studs and spikes and all this and that. It's it was all that. But to me, it's more we're building on the legacy of Judas Priest rather than trying to be them or impersonate them or emulate them. Because it's just impossible. I mean, there's no way that I could even remotely look like Rob Halford in a billion years.
I think people might miss your unique hairstyle if you tried to copy his.
Right. So, I mean, and I think that's something that people also gravitated to, is that they were just wow, it's we're real girls. We're not doing the pandy band thing. I know there's a lot of girl tributes out there that just want to look cute and parade around on stage playing whatever band they think is going to get them the highest guarantee from the club. But it's we're not doing that. we just never wanted to do that. It's no, it's we look the way that we look, but we're not going to, like, flood it up because we're relying on that versus, being able to play Painkiller.
Right.
It's just always that, like, the music came first and, like, the show comes first. So the delivery of the music comes first, not, like, we're not trying to be, like, looking like porn stars giving you this music. Well, I feel like, there's a lot of girls that rely on their looks to get them whatever. I don't know. It's just like, to me, it's just like, all right, well, then what else you got?
Well, it's the truth. I mean, the difference, in what you're saying is that you and the rest of Judas Priestess have a respect for the music that you guys are playing at your shows. You didn't just you're not just a group of girls that happen to play instruments and happen to sing and all happen to be a fan of the same band and said, hey, let's do an all-female tribute to the band we all love, and we'll try to make it look good as opposed to sounding good. You ladies are genuine musicians on your own. I mean, you brought up your resume, and I mean, for those that don't know, Militia has worked with everyone from Dee Snider to Nancy Sinatra. So if that doesn't tell you the range of professionalism, I don't know what does.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Very welcome. And, I gotta ask because, I mean, let's be honest, we're all fans of Judas Priest. And, if you're in the world of rock and metal, even if you're not a fan, you know Priest, and everyone knows Rob Halford's, range. Was that something when, you started with Judas Priestess, and is that something even now that kind of maybe haunts away in the back of your mind, like, okay, how am I going to put my own thing on it, but still do it in a way that's respectful, knowing that there are not many people that can hit the notes that Rob is able to hit?
Yeah, it was, well, like, when I first, I think, honestly, if I didn't have, like, the history of listening to Judas Priest before I started, it's like, I mean, I've been listening to Priest since, like, I discovered Priest, like, kind of late, because I think, I missed, like, the heyday, know, but I discovered Priest in, like, 1997, maybe, 98.
I think that's about when I might have stumbled on them as well. Right around, there was a double live album. I mean, it was with Ripper Owens. That double live in London album is when I first discovered them. So I'm like you, I was late to the party.
Yeah, totally. So but if I hadn't had, like, the back years of listening to them, I don't know, maybe my delivery might have been different, like if I was just walking into it cold and didn't know anything about them, but, I had the back catalog and had, like, loved the material. So because of that, it's like because I had the back knowledge, it's like gave me the freedom up front to not imitate what he was doing, but at least, like, put it in my own voice, while still being true to his style. Because I mean, just the way that the lyrics and the vocal melody is written is just so Halford. It's like unmistakably Halford. He's really got a way of expressing his own voice that is just like, it's undeniable that that's his like soul through the music. So as far as, like, delivering it, like, half the work is done in a way because the writing's so damn good. So it's like
the hard part. Right, the hard
Yeah.
part's out of the way.
Yeah, like I guess like here's the thing that people always ask me about the most, or like, what about those high notes? But the thing is that like he and I have like a similar vocal range. So
Okay.
it ends up, I mean, it's really impressive in him because he's a man doing it. It's not that impressive for me to do it because it's a female's range, but I happen to have like a wide range. I have four octaves, so he's got a similar thing too. But I guess the challenge is, there's things that are very comfortable in certain singers' voices that maybe aren't so comfortable in others. And I think, some of the risks that he takes vocally, just like most singers just don't take those risks.
Mm-hmm.
So, like me doing it, it's like I come from like a opera and theater background, so I'm vocally trained. So like, it's almost fucking opera in a way. Some of the things that he writes, So it wasn't like a huge stretch for me to step into that.
Well, I think you could probably say that as far as the writing went, if you look at the Priest catalog, many might say that Nostradamus was the closest that Judas Priest came as an entity to being a full-blown rock opera.
Mm-hmm.
On some of that album.
I love Nostradamus. I know that's like a faux pas amongst Priest fans, but like I thought Nostradamus was great, but I understood what they were going for because I have a background. I went to music conservatory, so it's like I'm like, oh, like I totally got what they were trying to do, and like I was hoping they would stage it, like that was the dream. And I had heard like through the grapevine that KK was, really disappointed in how Nostradamus was received because they had worked so hard on it. But Halford does some of his best singing on that album. I mean, it's really just like he pushed his voice into like a new territory on that album. I think more than people give him credit for.
I think what happened with Nostradamus was it was the follow-up to Angel of Retribution,
Angel. Yeah.
which
I love. That's
yes.
like the most underrated album of all.
It was such a phenomenal album, and it marked his return to Priest, and I guess people were anticipating more of the same.
Yeah.
And when you listen to Nostradamus from beginning to end, it makes sense as an album. If you want to pick it apart, and I remember having a conversation with my brother Jay Scorpion and Howie Blatz of Machine Elves when the album came out. We actually bought it. We all listened to it together, and the one thing we all noticed was as an album in its entirety, it made sense. But if you're looking for what everyone knows Priest to be, I would say there's maybe 8 tracks of the 2 discs that you could say put them on a single disc under a different title, and you've got a classic, distinct, normal, what the non-deep fan would want from Judas Priest. So it was kind of one of those albums where the longtime fans understood it, but the random fans went, what the hell is this?
Right. Yeah, I think, you know what, to even break that down even more, I think the bottom line about Nostradamus and why it didn't really fly was that they didn't have like singles on the album. Like they weren't like hits. It was part of this huge concept. So like as a whole, like you were saying, it's great. And you know, if you're listening to it as a Priest fan, and it's like, you know, it's got the whole concept thing where the songs are connecting to each other. A lot of the songs were fragments, and they weren't done in like a typical song structure. You know, like verse, pre-chorus, chorus, second verse, pre-chorus, chorus. You know, bridge, double chorus, whatever. You didn't have that, so it was like you didn't have the songs. Like the title track, Nostradamus, you had that, but then the other songs on the album, like you would never be like, oh, I love that one song, you know, Death or whatever. But Death is like, you know, it was like a minute 30 seconds or something, you know. So it wasn't a full song. So I think if they had put like maybe 2 more full songs on that album, it would have done better.
Yeah, I know. I just brought it up in front of me as we're discussing it. And, you know, the one thing I'm noticing is that the majority of what would be considered songs were 5 minutes or more.
Right.
And everyone expects that from Iron Maiden. But with Priest, you know, everyone's kind of gotten used to that fast, loud, you know, the groove. So to get something like, well, I mean, one song I always go to for airplay is Future of Mankind. I mean, that song is 8.5 minutes in length.
Right.
You know, it's a great, it's a great song, but you know, people are like, 8.5 minutes, really?
Right.
So, you know, Nostradamus for me as a whole was a good album, and to break, you know, to start breaking it down again, you know, it's semantics, really, when you break it down.
Right.
You know, now, yeah, that brings up an interesting point, and take for what you ladies do with Judas Priestess. Being that you're all fans, do you guys have scenarios where, you know, you're figuring out set lists and you're arguing over, well, I want this one, but you don't like, but someone doesn't like it, you know? Do you guys have issues where it's like, okay, I want to play this, I want to play that, I want to play that, but you're all arguing because you all want your own personal favorites?
That's funny that you asked that. You're actually the first person to ask that.
Really?
Yeah, no, we don't really argue about, like, we kind of like have this little game. Like, there's like 2 parts of this, because there's this like game that we play where each of us, like, we kind of go in a circle, and each girl gets to pick what song we do next. Like, someone will like make a suggestion, like, oh, you know, like Josette was like, I want to do Screaming for Vengeance, and we're like, all right, yeah, that's a good one. So then we just learn it and add it to the set, you know. And then you know, sometimes, like, for example, like, I picked Here Come the Tears a long time ago.
Wow.
And it ended up not really being a crowd favorite. So we ditched it. We played it like at a couple shows, and then we didn't do it anymore. So, I mean, I think all in all, we have something like 40-something songs that we can play by Priest.
That's a nice amount.
Yeah. And, you know, we trade them in and out. I mean, obviously there's certain songs that we have to play pretty much at every show. It's like we would never walk off the stage without playing You Got Another Thing Coming. You know, it's like there's certain songs that people expect us to play. You know, that's the same thing with Priest. There's certain songs that people expect them to play when they play out. It's the same thing. And then the songs that, like, really put them on the map, you know, we got to play them. So, I mean, I know, like, Living After Midnight is not, you know, one of our favorites, but we play it because people expect to hear Living After Midnight. It was, like, one of their biggest hits. So we don't really argue as far as, like, which song should be in the set. We're pretty, like, loose with it. Because, I mean, if we're gonna argue about something, like that's probably like the least argumentative point, you know. It's like we all know that there's like certain songs that will go better with certain audiences, and we're pretty cool with each other just being like, look, like if we're paying, like, you know, we're playing a family friendly crowd, we probably shouldn't do, you know, like this, like a super heavy set, you know, or if we're playing like a biker crowd, it's a good idea to do songs like Desert Plains and heading out to the highway and riding on the wind, you know. So, you know, we're conscious of like what audience we're playing for and when.
Right, yeah, I mean, like you said, you have the same problems that, you know, Priest has, in that there are certain songs that you have to play. I just find it interesting that, you know, you went and dug out a really deep cut for, you know, for a set list, and it didn't go over well, yet, you know, yet you always hear from fans when bands are touring, well, why don't they play a deep cut, you know?
Right. Because we don't play them because everyone goes to the bathroom or the bar. Actually, that's not true. But for some songs, they do. I find that actually, I mean, because we do play some deep cuts, but I find that if it's like a ballad deep cut, that we lose people.
Yeah, the power. I think it's safe.
Just like the curse of the ballad.
Yeah,
that's what happens like in any live band situation usually.
Yeah, I think
unless
it's.
You're Bret Michaels.
I think it's safe to say, outside of a Motley Crue or a Poison show, if you break out a ballad, people are gonna go, "I need more beer."
Yeah. Well, that was the effect that Here Come the Tears had. It was just too dramatic and too slow at the top, you know, and you know, it just like, you know, I loved it. I love that song, but it just wasn't as powerful live as I would like to think it would be.
Yeah, I sure would have hoped.
A lot of people didn't know it, you know. It was just, you know, it was all good. But we do have some songs that we keep that are deep cuts that people really enjoy. Like we do Saints in Hell. We do Deep Freeze in Winter from Rock-A-Rolla.
Nice.
You know, we have songs like that we just like, you know, we keep them in the set and they're kind of fun. We've been doing, well, now it's not, I wouldn't really call it a deep cut because they've been doing it a lot lately. Like we do Jawbreaker and I'm trying to think what else would be considered a deep cut. Well, I don't know, some songs that Priest hasn't really played live. You know, we like doing a lot of the 70s, you know, the 70s Priest.
Yeah, a lot
early
of
80s Priest.
Right, a lot of stuff from when it was their heyday that most people would be familiar with. You know, as opposed to someone that, you know, knows the catalog inside and out, as you guys, I'm sure, do.
Yeah, we actually had talked about doing Before the Dawn.
And
after the Here Come the Tears crash and burn, we decided to skip that.
It's like, yeah, we're not going to try that one again.
Yeah. We're like, all right. We thought it would be a good idea. It'd be something fun to break up with that, but yeah, no. We find that the Judas Priestess crowd that comes, they want the ragers.
They want the pure power. Throw your hands up in the air.
Totally.
Absolutely. For those of you tuning in late, Militia Vox of Judas Priestess joining me here inside the Asylum, and they are getting ready, coming up on the 18th, 19th, and 20th, the Food Truck and Rock Carnival happening in Oakdale, New Jersey. TheRockCarnival.com. Judas Priestess. Look at that, I almost slipped, called you guys the real deal. How do you like that? Wow!
Yeah, Judas Priest decided to fire everyone, and now they have all female members.
Female members. Boy, wouldn't that make news all over the world?
Yeah.
No, but Judas Priestess, part of the food truck and rock carnival this year in Oakdale, New Jersey, the rockcarnival.com for your tickets. Militia, this is something kind of new for the New York, New Jersey area, of course. Not if you include Metallica's Orion Festival in Atlantic City a few years back. What's your take on the United States finally starting to catch up with the European festivals, and now there are more of these 3-day music festivals starting to happen?
Well, I think people realize that that's where it's at. If you're going to make money doing live music or whatever, festivals is really the way to go, because people are like festival crazy in America right now, when Europe has been on the tip for a long time in other parts of the world. But it's great for everybody involved. It's great for the audience. It's great for the bands. It's great for the promoters. It's just better. Because then you get more bang for your buck. You get to see more different bands, not just like one or two. You know, you get variety, and then you have other options. Like, you don't even have to just watch the music. You have food. You have the carnival. It's like, it's giving, this thing in particular is giving you everything. So it's like, it ends up being like a family event, or it can be like an adult event. You know, there's a lot of options and variety, and I think people enjoy that. And this is the first time that we've really had, you know, something like this, you know, so close to New York City. So it's cool to have it. Obviously, Jersey is like the, you know, home state of rock and roll. You know, it really is. Like, they keep the legacy going. To have it in a state like New Jersey that has so much love and respect for rock and roll, and then have it be close to New York City, which, like, New York City's never been like a rock and roll mecca at all. Like, punk lived here once, and like, that's about it. Like, it's very much a dance music town, or like hip hop town, you know. So it's cool to have this thing for, like, you know, the little like 0.5% of New Yorkers that really, really love hearing live rock and roll. So it's cool that they're finally doing this, and I love that they're going to make it an annual thing. We definitely needed something like this in the area. So I know my band, Judas Priestess, is just thrilled and honored to be included in the maiden voyage of this festival. So I really hope that people in the area support it.
So now, are you ladies a little intimidated? Would this be your biggest crowd to date, or have you guys done something at this level?
Well, we're not intimidated at all. We're all for this. We're excited because we finally, you know, we're excited to like really show our stuff at this event. We're kicking it off, actually. We're playing at 7 o'clock on Friday, September 18th. And, no, we played a lot of bike rallies, motorcycle rallies. I mean, we headlined like Myrtle Beach Bike Week, which is like 30,000 people. So, we're not afraid of big crowds. No, that's where we live, you know. I mean, that's the cool thing about us, is that we're pretty versatile, you know. We're not scared to play intimately. We're not scared to play, you know, on a big stage. So it'll be fun. If anything, we'll get off on it.
That's the way it should be, you know. Everyone, yeah. It's all, when it comes down to, at the end of the day, you know, being all about the music, and that's what it's all about, no matter how big or small the venue. But, you know, I had to ask, you know, simply for the fact that, you know, the festivals are growing, and I mean, you know, there are even those major label bands that have said, you know what, we headline a festival, and you know what, we shit our pants.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, I think that's the ultimate thing, is that, like, I mean, I'm not a shy person, and like the other girls in my band ain't shy either. And we know that we're killers, so it's like we know we can go in there and do our thing and annihilate as we like to do, and just have a good time doing it. So it's gonna be fun. It's really gonna be fun. So.
Very cool. And one of the other things that really I think helps Judas Priestess in helping to win over so many fans, bringing it back around to the tribute aspect, is that you ladies have gotten acclaim from so many people in the world of rock and metal, including members of Priest themselves. And I mean, I think that just says volumes for what you ladies are able to do. And, definitely should give, if that doesn't give reason for people to buy tickets and get out there on September 18th for the Food Fucking Rock Carnival, I don't know what could,
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we were just thrilled to be asked to do it, because I don't know, for anyone that's in a band, I mean, not just us, I mean, I'm sure sometimes it feels like, it kind of feels like chasing the dragon.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you want that feeling, you want to have good feelings when you perform, and you want to have, you want it to be, you want it to stay fresh, and you want it to stay exciting. And sometimes when you're out there doing a thing, like, you feel like you're spinning your wheels, like, ugh. I mean, I played in original bands for years, and burnout is easy. Like, it's easy to burn out, So I mean, I just feel lucky that first of all, like, we found each other, that me and my girls found each other, and that we're able to play music together. It's like, tribute or not, I'm just like relieved to be playing with like 4 badass girls. So us playing events like this, to me, it like makes sense, because I feel like we deserve it, because we put the time in, we put the work in, and I think we do our thing and we do it well. It's just a relief, really, to have like people notice it.
And good reason to notice it as well. And I know you ladies have 3 songs on iTunes. Your versions of Heading Out to the Highway, the Hellion Electric Eye, and you've got another thing coming, all available on iTunes. So everyone make sure. I do.
And we're about to record some more, so we're about to do like a batch of really heavy songs. So
really? Now,
to that.
Are those going to be individual singles, or are we looking at a Judas Priestess album?
Nah, it's gonna be singles. People don't really buy albums anymore, unless you're like a legacy band. No. I mean, you do, and like most metalheads do.
Yeah.
But I find that, like, I don't know, maybe it's just like a younger generation thing or whatever. It's just like, for a tribute band, it's like it's a bit of a risk for us to put out an album. We find that people like the singles. They like to pick and choose what they want. So we're like, all right, let's just keep, we'll keep making singles. So we're going to make another batch of singles. And I don't know, maybe one day, if the demand is there, we'll do an album if people want it. That's the thing about this band. Like, we don't do anything because we want to. It's usually because, like, if people ask for it, we have to do, like, supply, demand, So if people ask for it, then, that would start that conversation. But,
understandable.
We're just kind of like, we're very aware of what's expected of us as a tribute band, so. But, like, something that's always been my dream for this band, I want us to record an original. So,
that was
about it.
Yeah, that was my next question, on whether or not you guys have ever thought about or asked to do any original material Has that, yeah, I know you've said it, but how close has that come to be? And would it be original as in your own sound, or would it be original with a heavy priest influence?
I think, well, it really depends because, like, we would have to get in a room and actually work on it.
Right.
Right now, it's just in talk. But, I mean, I like the idea of just, like, having it be original, but maybe, like, maybe there's a nod to priest somehow. Whether that's, like, subjectually or in the lyrics or whatever, that remains to be seen. But it's something that I think it would be important for us to do.
Well, either way, everyone needs to check out Judas Priestess. The website is as simple as that, judaspriestess.com, and make sure you get your tickets to see them at the food truck and Rock Carnival on the 18th of September. Militia, I want to thank you for joining me here inside the asylum. We could talk for hours, but I'm only got so much time here inside the asylum, and I know, I'll tell you what, we'll definitely get you back in here on the phone again in the near future. And before I let you go, and we get back into the tunes here inside the asylum, I gotta have you pick out, of the 3 that I have in my library, because they can be purchased on iTunes, hint hint, which would you like me to play for my listeners?
Oh, I would love for you to play You Got Another Thing Coming.
Well, you got it right now, right here inside the asylum. Judas Priestess with You've Got Another Thing Coming. Don't go anywhere, stay tuned. More to come here inside the asylum.